Hello friends, welcome to my Crate Paper Memorydex, and I'm showing you the pack of cards, the 20 cards that I got at Tuesday morning, because that is tip number 1, and I want to share that with you. If you use the cards to make your Memorydex divider or Memorydex cards, you won't have to reinforce them because this card is ultra thick. So I'm just showing you that I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder, the quarter inch corner rounder, and I use the Heidi Swapp Rolodex punch. Now I'm adding the crocheted lace around the edge with a hot glue gun to the washi tape rosettes, and that's tip number 2, is use your washi tape along the edge of your white cardstock to make it look like you have pattern paper, and that way you get to use your washi and you also get to save your pattern paper. In this case I want to save the Merry Days pattern paper because it's not being produced anymore, and I just have 2 of the 6x8 paper pads. So here I'm showing you how I'm just a little bit at a time. I'm only placing a few mini dots of glue, of the hot glue, and adding the crochet lace just to add another bit of texture around this. And you can see that the finished washi tape rosette looks like a pattern paper rosette, and there's a few more in the background that I've tried, and I'll put a tutorial on doing that up soon. So here you can see how I'm just dotting on with this detail glue gun, and this will make a cute edge to the rosette, and it's a little bit different than the crepe paper one. I feel like this is a countdown on the British baking show. It's like, is she going to get it done in time? Is she going to finish the lace and make it look nice? Anyway, so you can see how that rosette looks, and now I'm bringing over the Merry Days, these domed shaker stickers that I got also at Tuesday morning. I'm bringing in these pine branch die cuts that I created with the Tim Holtz Sizzix Thinlits dies. There's a pack of, I believe this one is called Festive Mini Festive Foliage, and that I like that dome sticker and the fact that it has the shaker already done for you. So I'm showing you an up-close action shot here where you can see the little shaker parts moving around. So I'm going to adhere this with foam just so that it gives another layer of dimension and pops up off of the rosette a little bit. So I'm just using craft foam and these micro scissors to kind of guess at the size here. I use my fingernails to indent the foam. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus since I have it so close to the camera. I'm just going to trim off some of the corner there because I didn't want that to show. Then I'll just adhere this with hot glue to the center of the rosette. And that's done. Now you can see how that looks. And then I decide that I want to add some snow to the pine branches with gesso. So I'm just going to use gesso because I feel like it looks more like snow and it's more opaque than paint. And it does have some dimension when it dries if you kind of use a liberal application with a paintbrush. So I'm just Going to brush it on all three. I'm like, oh, I thought I got a notification. Guess not. And so I like using this gesso as snow. It also gives some more texture as well. And also, if your green does not exactly match, like this green doesn't match the Merry Days paper exactly, but that's okay. When you cover it with the white gesso, it kind of tones it down and you can't tell that it is not a coordinating color. So I'm showing you the back of this Merry Days. This is one of the original packages of die cuts from the Merry Days collection that came out in 2018. I'm adding some American Crafts baker's twine here, or it's kind of like colored jute twine. And I'm just going to add it to the two die cuts that look like tags. And I'm doing this because I want to add more of that blush color. So I have the blush color in the rosette from the washi tape, and then I'm also adding this kind of jute twine that's in the blush color. And both of these die cuts also have the blush color on them. I just want to repeat that color in almost each of the things that I place on here. So I love this die cut with the two little kids creating the snowman. So I really like that die cut, and I want to try to have all of it show, but you know how that goes. You have to tuck it behind and you're not going to get to see all of it, but you can lift up the edge of the rosette to see the little boy creating the other side of the snowman. So that's what's fun about the Memorydex cards. You can really chunk them up, more so than you can for pocket pages or scrapbook pages. You can't really make a scrapbook page that has this much chunkiness to it. So it's kind of fun to do a different type of project like this that can get super chunky. So there you can see how I tuck the two die cuts at a diagonal underneath that main rosette in the center, and then I'm still going to use the foam just to add some, make sure that each layer has some dimension and is up off the background. I think that it really adds some interest to the Memorydex cards when there's some foam to bring the pieces up off the background. So once again, just using the craft foam in white to lift those up. I'm just placing everything because I want to make sure that you can see as much of the die cuts as possible, but I don't want that foam to stick out the top of the card. So here I'm just using the hot glue gun to adhere, because it's kind of tricky. If your foam is not pre-adhesive backed, it's kind of tricky to get it to stick unless you use like foam glue or hot glue works. Okay, so I'm adding another piece of foam to that blue die cut with the snowman. Just taking off the corners. Because I know if I leave the corners on, they end up poking out of something, so I just usually cut them off here. Sorry, I go out of frame again. Just trying to get the glue to the end of the glue stick so it's not coming out of the glue gun anymore. Now I like how the jute twine gives another texture. So the rosette and the lace, I am trying to squeeze that die cut over so that you can see the little boy, but it's not going to happen. So I'll just scoot it over as much as I can. And luckily the foam is not showing out the back. It would be okay if it was, since it's the back, but I don't know. I want the back to look good too. So here I'm showing you how that dimension looks and how it raises it up. Now you can double up or triple up the layers of foam if you want to add more dimension. I'm just adding a little bit more foam here. I like these mini scissors from Heidi Swap. They're just super easy to have on your desk because they don't take up much room. And they're easy to go to crops with. So I could have doubled up this one, but I'm going to add more layers onto the top, so I thought that was maybe enough dimension. So one of the things I wanted to start doing was maybe doing some Craft With Me lives. Let me know in the description box in the comments, or in the comments down below, if you guys want to join in like a Craft With Me live, because I have some ideas of what we could use these Memorydex cards for. I make the dividers, and then you can always add the lined Memorydex cards in between. And like I said on some of my other videos for the Memorydex, it's really good to put like memory verses or scripture or quotes. Say you want some positive quotes, you could add those in here. It's just a great place to have something that is out on your desk and easily accessible. You could use it for sketches. I'm on the Scrap Gals podcast episode number 287 with 30 mixed media technique ideas, and you could use 30 cards to list the techniques. And that would also be something I can think about adding. Here is some of the cards and info like that, or ways to use your Memorydex. Those are just some ways that I thought of off the top of my head. Okay, so that 3D star is some air dry clay. This kind is Martha Stewart air dry clay, but you can use any air dry clay, Fimo clay, any kind of clay to make your own embellishments. And I just like I colored these. I kind of hand mix the color to match the blush of this crepe paper collection, the Merry Days collection. And I also painted the top with the Creative Effects holographic iridescent glaze from Vicki Boutin. And so I'm adding some, I believe these glitter snowflakes were from Dollar Tree. Snowflakes, not fakes. These snowflakes were, I believe, from Dollar Tree. I got them a couple years ago though, so don't quote me on that. And then this is the air dry clay star that I made and painted the top. So I like doing that because it's not a heavy embellishment. It looks like it's metallic or it's like a metal brad, but it's definitely lightweight, so you can really pile these on. I have some more in the shot there on the left. Those are also the air dry clay that I made. So you can see how that looks. I like piling it next to or kind of clustering it next to that snowflake. And then I'm going to think about adding, I decide that I want to add this Joy puffy sticker from the Merry Days puffy sticker sheet. And I like it right over that domed house there, the shaker, just to add another layer. So this has been fun to create this. I like having like I said, it's just a different kind of project, and it's kind of freeing to just, and also, if you get stuck on ideas for creating your scrapbook pages, you can do something smaller like this, and then that might give you an idea for a layout. So here I'm adding a smaller one of those air dry clay stars that I made. And I just use silicone molds. I know Martha Stewart had silicone molds, and you could use a hot glue gun and pour glue in the silicone mold, or use this air dry clay like I did. And then I also want to add another, I'm just getting the little spider webbies off from the hot glue gun. So you can see how I added the pine branches at an angle and just kind of filled up this whole divider card. And then I want to add a puffy star from that puffy sticker sheet. I mean, these are just too cute. Like everything in the Merry Days collection is just, it's perfect. So I'm going to add a tiny, tiny dab of hot glue here and add it to the snowflake. I just like to add lots of layers if I can. Find a way to add more layers. And here's where I get the idea that I want to add some of the iridescent, what are these things? The iridescent, they're not snowballs. I mean, they look like snowballs once I get them on this card, but they're the pom-poms. That's the word, pom-poms. I don't know how I forgot that. So I'm going to add 2 or 3 onto here. I originally started with a larger size, and then I change it out for the smaller size. But I really like how it has adds another texture, and this is just fun. So thank you so much for joining me. I've got some still shots and some close-ups at the end, and I've got some links in the description box below. Thanks for joining me. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Bye!